ich denke, wir haben gestern im Rennen schon sehr viel gelernt im Vergleich zu vor 2 Wochen, wo wir hier waren zum Testen. Von dem her versuchen wir jetzt, das, was wir gestern gelernt haben, heute auch umsetzen zu können. Jetzt für die zweite Hälfte werde ich dann auch selber gucken, dass wir es bis auf den Paket auswählen können.
Wir halten euch ganz fest die Daumen und hoffen, dass wir uns dann gleich auf dem Podium wiedersehen. Daniel Keilwitz und Andreas Wild war das am Mikrofon. Toi, 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 euch beiden, toi, 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 der Mannschaft von der Callaway Competition, die damit also gleich auf die Reise gehen werden. Wir schauen mal in Richtung Uhr. Achso, die steht auf einer Stunde, ja, das ist auch gut. Okay, dann nehmen wir die andere 17. Und haben als Uhrzeit festzulegen 13:01 Uhr. Im Moment versuchen wir zwar nochmal eine Reihe weiter nach vorne zu kommen, dort wo Lukas Stolz und Jeroen Bleekemolen sowie Jeroen im Team sind, aber sie hört auch schon das Rauschen. Und wir sind noch nicht ganz angekommen in der ersten Startreihe, also ich denke, das sollten wir uns dann vielleicht noch aufheben für weitere Worte, wenn es denn in ein paar Wochen nach Österreich geht, Anfang Juni. Weil es macht es ja auch nicht wirklich Sinn zu machen, unser Fernsehpartner Sport 1 gerade da vorne auch am Bentley HTP, nämlich eine Saisonstart oder seinen Sendungsstart, den es jetzt gibt, ebenfalls praktiziert. Also werden wir uns langsam aber sicher zurückziehen in Richtung der Kabine, um dann von dort aus natürlich den Start und das gesamte Rennen für Sie und mit Ihnen zusammen zu verfolgen. Wir werden also sicherlich 60 Minuten hochspannen. Ist dann im Masters
Lassen die Bus abfahren.
die als aktive oder ehemalige Formel-1-Rennstrecken im Kalender der ADAC GT Masters auftauchen. Ist halt eben der Nürburgring, da ist Trockenheit, da ist Zandvoort mit dabei, Spa-Francorchamps und eben halt der Red Bull Ring in Österreich. Unsere nächste Station Anfang Juni, wenn wir dort zu Gast sein, in der Steiermark, da freuen wir uns alle wieder drauf. Auch dort haben wir mittlerweile schon so ziemlich alles, was Witterungsbedingungen angeht, hinter uns gebracht. Wir haben sogar Wasserbootrennen mit den GT-Fahrzeugen dort schon praktiziert. Das ist eine Anfangsphase unserer Geschichte bzw. der Geschichte der GT und GT Masters und Red Bull Ring in Österreich. Also da war wirklich schon so ziemlich alles mit bei. Insofern ist das also der nächste Blickpunkt, der sich dann nach dem heutigen Nachmittag hier aus Oschersleben schon richtet auf Österreich. Aber wir haben erstmal unsere 60 Minuten. Ich denke, wir machen jetzt an dieser Stelle hier unser kurzes Break, gehen dann mit Musik noch ein bisschen Hinweis auf die Ohren, werden dann um 13:10 Uhr hier auch unter Livestream aufgeschaltet sein und dann nochmal in der gesamten Fülle das Teilnehmerfeld für Sie präsentieren, um dann mit Start um 13:15 Uhr tatsächlich dabei zu sein und das Rennen vorfolgen zu lassen.
Good afternoon and welcome to a super sunny Sunday here at Oschersleben for the second race in the ADAC GT Masters for 2015. There you can see assembled the cars on the grid. And to the right-hand side of the picture, the huge crowd here to enjoy the phenomenal racing from the ADAC GT Masters that is in prospect for this afternoon. Yesterday's race was a great one to watch with Christian Engelhardt and Klaus Bachler taking the win from Sebastian Asch and Luca Ludwig, and Harry Prochik and Andreas Simonsen in third place. So it was a Porsche 911 that took the win from two Mercedes-Benz SLSs in race one. The grid for today's race, well, right at the front we have the Bentley HTP team with Lucas Stoltz and Jeroen Bleekemolen, who will be doing the first driving stint. Jeroen Bleekemolen, P1, and then alongside it's one of the Prosperia Christian Abt Racing Audis, driven by Nicky Tim, who partners with Jordan Lee Pepper for this season. That's the front row of the grid. We'll give you the grid in full in just a moment. So, by dint of their success yesterday, leading the championship charge, currently it's Klaus Bachler and Christian Engelhardt. The sun really is beating down here in Oschersleben, which means that visibility on our screens because of the sun coming through the commentary booths is ever so difficult. Jeroen Bleekemolen and Lucas Stoltz then drive this gorgeous Bentley Continental GT3 from Bentley team HTP and go from pole position for this afternoon's race. We're about 4 minutes away from the formation lap. Then it's Nicky T and Jordan Lee Pepper. Nicky team, of course, very experienced Porsche racer. Jordan Lee Pepper comes here on the strength of his championship success in last year's Volkswagen Scirocco R Cup. P3 on the grid for Luca Ludwig and Sebastian Asch in the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG from Team Zakspeed. Luca Ludwig with driving duties first this afternoon, looking poised in the seat of that really rather gorgeous car. Championship winning car from the past, of course, this Corvette from Callaway Competition with Daniel Keilwitz and Andreas Wirth. Daniel Keilwitz driving first, and pit stop window that comes up to for the driver change is between 25 and 35 minutes into the race. Andreas Simonsen driving duties first in the HP Racing Mercedes. Harry Prochik will take over halfway through the hour-long duration race this afternoon here at the 3.696 kilometre circuit at Oschersleben, which is the traditional season opener for the ADAC GT Masters. Christy Jons and Andreas Weishaupt, another one of the Audi R8 LMS Ultras from Seat Racing. As the cars roar into life in front of us. Down there on the grid, as we look at the Jens Klingman, Dominic Baumann BMW Z4 GT3. Pushed down the order in P11 yesterday. And there, as I mentioned, a good crowd to enjoy this sun-filled afternoon of ADAC GT Masters racing here at Oschersleben. So, 60-minute race, 25 minutes to 35 minutes into the race is the official pit stop window, where the driver changes occur, and that is the very podium upon which you'll see the race winners in around about just over an hour's time. Formation lap is due to get underway in 5 seconds, and doubtless everything will be on time. Right on the button, the Audi moves off, and so too the Bentley. So, formation lap underway then. Good race yesterday. Was safety car at one point. Race conditions suggested just about perfect. It's warm, dry, and the sun is shining. Interestingly, just as we made way up to Commons booth here, there was just a rain shower. It lasted no more than 60 seconds. Okay, let's go through the grid for Tim and Bleekemolen then on the front row. Bleekemolen pole position. Then it's Ludwig and Keilwitz on the next row back, P3 and 4. Simonsen and Jons go from P5 and P6. Then it's Klingman and Strauss, P7 and P8. Next row sees yesterday's winner, Backler, and alongside is Van der Linde. Then it's Scholze and Diego Lacey, former champion, of course. Krohn and Sandstrom on the next row of the grid, and from P15 and 16 it's Basing and Sven Bart. Then we see Philip Geipel and Oliver Gavin in the Camaro on the next row of the grid, and Marianek is Lennart Marianek right at the back of the pack. I was talking to Oliver Gavin and Thomas Enger earlier today, and they were saying that this track really does not suit the Camaro, although it has come on leaps and bounds, and pace of that big black machine you can see there means that it is a full second quicker around here than it was last year. Very happy with the performance and the development they've made in the closed season with that car, and expecting great things from it when it goes to tracks, or when they go to tracks that suit that big car more than the Oschersleben circuit does. 3.696 kilometres, pinch point always the hotel turn, the first left-hander after the start. And the cars are on their formation lap, champing at the bit, ready to get going. The safety car peels off. It is the responsibility of row one now to pace this start. as they head towards the lights. They go from red to green, and we go racing here at Oschersleben. Great move from the Corvette, and Luca Ludwig having a look as well. I think Luca Ludwig is aiming for P2 here. He's run out wide now by the Bentley, and that has allowed the Corvette to go through to take up the running after just one turn. We're on board with Jeroen Bleekemolen and on board with Daniel Keilwitz. So they're the number 66 car. The rest of the pack come through. Battle there between Guy Pell and Oliver Gavin, between the Audi and the Bentley, but it is Corvette that leads the way. This the opening lap of the ADAC GT Masters Race 2 here of the weekend. And already the Corvette beginning to open up just a little bit of a gap over Jeroen Bleekemolen. All jostling for positions going on further down the order. And, well, the Porsche very nearly in strife then as it ran out onto the runoff area, and we complete one lap here at Oschersleben. Keilwitz leads from Bleekemolen, then it is Ludwig, Simonsen, Jens Klingman. The order on the left-hand side of your screen: Keilwitz, Bleekemolen, Ludwig, Simonsen, Jens Klingman, then P5. Seconds gap between P1 and P2. Let's see a replay of the start. Absolutely awesome start from the Corvette. Good start too from the Bentley. Nicky team really being hung out to dry, unfortunately, at the start of this race. Watch the replays from on board as positions are jostled for through the hotel turn. We're on board with Jeroen Bleekemolen, and there Daniel Keilwitz, his Corvette ahead, and from in the garages, Bentley team watch on, and here from another angle through that turn one. As live, we have another lap completed. Bleekemolen having clawed back just about 4/10 on the leading Daniel Keilwitz last time around. That's how close the Mercedes and the Bentley were, and the Bentley running wide, which meant that the Mercedes and the Audi were hung out to dry, and that just played into the hands of Daniel Keilwitz, who was able to go through and take up the lead. Let's see it from Daniel Keilwitz. Now, this was the decisive move as he ran to the outside, and it was the long drag down to the left-hander. Certainly kept his foot in. There was the Bentley right in front, but now the Bentley runs wide, and that just opens up that gap, and that played into the hands completely of Daniel Keilwitz, who was able to take advantage of that and go through and take up the lead. Florian Strauss and Mark Gasner, Nissan being run out wide. They control that with some opposite lot with Jens Klingman, Dominic Baumann, BMW, not giving any quarter at all. So all the opening lap action brought to you in replay as we go back live to the race as we have it at the moment. Keilwitz then a 1:28.568 his last lap. Bleekemolen's was a 1:29.090. So Daniel Keilwitz then, margin of 2.063 seconds over Jeroen Bleekemolen at the moment. Luca Ludwig in P3, then it's Simonsen, Klingman, Christy Jons, then it's Nicky Thiem down there in P7. Linda P8. Strauss P9, and in P10, Florian Scholzer. So on board with Nicky team right now from the Christian Abt Racing team, who has the Christian's machine ahead of him. Teammate in the Champions team last year, Abt Racing. Around turn 4 they go through the Bilstein chicane and down the stadium straight before into the Shell S's here on this 3.696 kilometre Oschersleben circuit. Keilwitz leading, and the incident between car number 23 and car number 80 is under investigation. That Florian Strauss and against the Dominic Baumann machine. P10 and 11. Well, the Corvette of Diego Alesi and Assenheimer clearly taking time out of the Scholzer Jost machine. Keilwitz doing a great job at the front, opening up another few tenths over Jeroen Bleekemolen. Now some 2.4 seconds. All over the back of that Nissan is the Corvette, trying to find a way past, and has indeed done so. Just dives up the inside, or has he? There's jostling and panel rubbing between the two of them as they head to the next turn, but Diego Alesi kept his foot in, former champion in the ADAC GT Masters. That's where he set the move up. Just absolutely kept his foot in, was not going to release any time at all, release any space at all, and that was enough. Just been told a 5-second pit stop penalty going to be awarded to car number 80 of Jens Klingmann and Dominic Baumann. That message just flashing up on the screen, a 5-second pit stop penalty for car number 80, that particular machine. Keilwitz crosses the line once again, having opened up another few tenths over Jeroen Bleekemolen. And Luca Ludwig a full second behind P2 as he runs in P3. Confirmation of that 5-second pit stop penalty then for Jens Klingmann in the car where he partners with Dominic Baumann, the BMW Sports Trophy team Schubert BMW. How long race? Pit stop window 25 to 35 minutes into the race duration to allow the driver change to occur. You can pit at any time in that 10-minute window. It's your call, or rather the team's call. And this the jostling between the two of them, which caught the attention of the race stewards. To be fair, that was a big save from Florian Strauss as he held it together, but just look at this. Keilwitz really has got a motor on, and at the moment the HTP Motorsport Bentley Continental GT3, Jeroen Bleekemolen able to be on terms with Daniel Keilwitz at all. Going back to 2013 when you find the Daniel Keilwitz took victory in the second race of the opening charge of the ADAC GT Masters. Back then, teaming up with Diego Alesi. Teammate now is Andreas Wirth. So just a shade under 3 seconds, the margin between P1 and P2. And just over a full second between P2 and P3. So car number 36 then. Yesterday's effectively Klaus Bachler at the wheel, the yellow and black Porsche that you can see in the middle of the shot, or in that previous shot. Down there in P12, having lost 3 places since the start. You can see with the arrows on the right-hand side of those graphics who's moved up and who's moved down. A brilliant effort from Daniel Keilwitz right at the very, very start of this race. Really got a blistering start and was then able to take opportunities that were presented to him as we're on board with Nicky Tim right now in the ADAC Racing R8 LMS Ultra. He has, from the same stable, Christy Jons ahead of him. Van der Linde right behind as well, so 3 ADAC Racing cars in a row there. And they're perhaps reinforcement of what Tenga and Oliver Gavin was saying to me earlier about the Camaro, just not quite on the pace here at Oschersleben down there in P18. As the cars complete another lap, and again, the margin between Keilwitz and Bleekemolen goes the way of Daniel Keilwitz, doing a great job there as we go on board with the Audis there, and Dr. Van der Linde just taking a look up the inside of the Nicky Tim machine. So Kelvin Van der Linde, champion last year with René Rast, is behind now the Christy Jons machine, as Nicky Tim has up to P6. So the inter-ADAC Racing battle continues, if you like, with the former champion, or the current champion, Kelvin Van der Linde at the moment in P8. Some brilliant onboard shots we're able to bring you. Dropping away here a little bit is perhaps Luca Ludwig, who's down there in P3. Keilwitz is way up the road and consistently lapping faster than those behind. Yesterday's victorious car, driven by Klaus Bachler in the opening stint today, being hounded by the number 19 BMW of Krohn, the Claudia Hürtgen that takes over driving duties in that. Last couple of laps. As now Kelvin Van der Linde gets past the Christy Jons Audi, and so too going through the number 23 Florian Strauss Nissan. And you can see now that those cars have been released from that car. Certainly Kelvin Van der Linde making his way up the road now. That was through the hotel turn. Relatively clean and easy move for Florian Strauss. And look at the remarkable lead that Daniel Keilwitz has built over the Bentley. Keilwitz absolutely untroubled out there in the Corvette. Leading from Bleekemolen, Ludwig, and then Simonsen, Jens Klingman. Now under pressure is the Corvette right at the back of the pack from the Lennart Marionek car. There's race leader though, 3.5 seconds to the good as he goes into the hotel turn. Then it is Bleekemolen, who has a couple of seconds advantage over the P3 Luca Ludwig machine. Keilwitz with absolutely nothing to worry about out front. He's consistently banging in very, very good laps. His best lap a 1:28.366. His last lap a 1:28.934. The chicane. There the Bentley of Jeroen Bleekemolen, P2. And then Luca Ludwig in P3 with Andreas Simonsen. Right on the back now of Luca Ludwig. To choose between the lap times of P3 and P4 at the moment. Keilwitz over the line, 3.2 seconds to the good over Jeroen Bleekemolen. Centre picture now in the Bentley Continental GT3 car. And then Luca Ludwig and Andreas Simonsen. Jens Kingman, P5. Nicky team is P6. Van der Linde, P7. Strauss P8, Mr. Jons P9, Diego Alessi P10 as we round out the top 10 for you, but all the standings at the moment on the left-hand side of your screen. So the awesome looking Bentley Continental GT3 then, new into the ADAC GT Masters this year from HTP Motorsport, who incidentally the HTP junior team enjoying great success in the ADAC Formula 4, which has made its debut this weekend here at Oschersleben as well. So at the moment all looking good for HTP, but looking really good for Daniel Keilwitz in the Callaway competition car, Corvette Z06.R GT3. It's been the mainstay of Callaway competition in terms of the development of that car. In the ADAC GT Masters, and a regular front-running feature in the ADAC GT Masters, that's for sure. Klaus Bachler then, still being pressured by Jesse Krohn in the BMW, but Krohn has not been able to find a way past the yellow and black Porsche as they complete another lap here at Oschersleben. The battle back there for P12. Ahead is the Nissan of Florian Scholzer and Dominic Jost. As we search through the order for the closest battles to bring you. The Nissan through, and then the race-winning Porsche from yesterday. Klaus Bachler, driver 1 today. Yesterday it was Christian Engelhardt. Engelhardt will take over driving duties in the second part of the race. There's the number 1 car of Kelvin van der Linde. P7 had a time of it in the race yesterday, that's for sure. Racing team having to work hard to re-prepare the car for racing today. Well, Oliver Gavin still there in P18 with the number 12 car. Marionette. Knoll right behind. Guys were out on track earlier this morning for their warm-up session, which was dominated by the MRS GT Racing Nissan GTR Nismo GT3. Jost and Scholzer this morning. And it was Dovic and Sandstrom in the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. Interestingly, Dominic Pepper and Nicky Tim were P3 in the warm-up this morning. Just looking through to find out where Daniel Keilwitz was in that warm-up. As we continue to watch this battle at the back of the order, and cross back now to the P3 car of Luca Ludwig. And out goes the number 12 car. So in its quest to get alongside the Camaro, just a little bit of a tap, and that ends up with the BMW. A fairly hefty impact into the tyres. Straight on it with the replay there. Just a little tap was enough to damage the rear suspension and the rear wheel, and BMW ends up in the wall, which provokes a safety car, which will bunch everyone all back up. And also having to come in is the Oliver Gavin car. There is the machine. So Gavin in, and this is not the mandatory stop. That pit stop window hasn't opened yet. All fairly academic, really, because running at the back, as they both said to me, and good to see that Lennart Marinek is out of the car and absolutely fine. Both Inga and Oliver Gavin said this morning that the car really on the pace here at Oschersleben. So just to finish the story, I was telling you about the idiosyncrasies, if you like, of racing sometimes. The slowest car in the warm-up this morning was Andreas Daniel Keilwitz, who leads the race currently. Daniel Keilwitz. So where are we? 3.5 minutes away from the pit stop window opening, as big Camaro that was involved in that instant, which has seen the safety car out, back out on track once again with Oliver Gavin at the wheel. Daniel Keilwitz leads the race from Jeroen Bleekemolen, and Luca Ludwig in P3 as the car's all behind the safety car now, whilst that BMW is going to be recovered. Bunched up together once again, just as the well, where are we? A couple of minutes away from the pit stop window opening. Marshall's doing a great job here in recovering the number 12 car. So we'll see no more from Lennart Marinek and Jakob Noll during the course of this opening weekend of the ADAC GT Masters. So with the car already under recovery, hopefully it won't be too long before the safety car is completing its tour of the Oschersleben circuit, and we can go back to racing again. With the huge lead that he'd built up, all counts as pretty much zero now, as Jeroen Bleekemolen will sense there's an opportunity, but Keilwitz's pace was absolutely incredible and built up a huge margin over the Bentley behind. And the standings for you. Safety car is coming in this lap. Replay of the instant that caused the safety car to come out. Just that little tag, and that was enough. Broke a component on the left-hand rear of the car. You see it again in slow-mo there, and the wheel very much out of sorts. The momentum that was being carried certainly not controllable, and their impact into the Armco, but the Armco at that point protected by tyres, so that absorbed some of the energy. So lights out on the safety car. That means it is coming in this lap, 30 seconds away from the pit stop window opening. And already drivers standing by, ready to dive in and assume driving duties when that window opens in now, just 15 seconds. So Keilwitz then, who had built up a brilliant lead, and now puts his foot down and tries to get a flyer. And, well, Bleekemolen dives straight in. As Keilwitz goes. So Luca Ludwig is straight up into second place, and Ludwig himself is going to come under some pressure from Simonsen as they go into the hotel turn there. Keilwitz was able to back them up sufficiently. The pit stop window is open. We saw the Bentley come straight in. And right in front of me, who else has come in? The Audi of Nicky Tim, and also Christy Jorns is in. So from P10 all the way back, as you can see on the left-hand side, all diving in to make their driver change early on. So we watch the driver change as it happens. Meantime, Keilwitz out there. The incident between car number 12 and car number 25 is going to be under investigation. There's perhaps no surprise there, although I'm seeing it as many times as we did in replay as the HTP Bentley team's car completes its pit stop, very first one in. Car 21 under investigation also, that's Luca Ludwig. Now, a big gaggle as they all try and make their way out of the pits. And right into the mix of it, then Daniel Keilwitz. He's ahead of the Corvette in terms of returning into the race. So good strategy move. There appears to be some damage to the front end of the number 7 car. I don't know if you just noticed that. And there's some rubber from something and from somewhere. On the number 23 car of Florian Strauss and Mark Gasner. The car certainly very slow. Black and white flag going to be shown to this driver, Luca Ludwig, who's on his way into the pit lane right now, behind Daniel Keilwitz. So the Callaway Competition Corvette that we are on board with right now. Andreas Simonsen then will take up the nominal lead of the race. As they go down the pit lane. Andreas Wirth that takes over driving duties now. Out comes Keilwitz. Here is Luca Stolz, and this is critical for us to watch, but by my reckoning, Luca Stolz has got this by some margin in comparison to this Corvette. So Luca Stolz now through the chicane in the number 7 Bentley, and as you can see, just some damage to the front right-hand wing of that car. So Andreas Wirth is released now, and down the start-finish straight is the Bentley of Luca Stolz. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close indeed, and I think the Bentley is going to have it. Andreas Wirth, no, just manages to get out in front of the Bentley. So the loser in that effectively is the Mercedes now, which is going to be in P3 when the pit stop window closes. Being driven now by Sebastian Ash. And, well, Lucas Stoltz is using this opportunity to be right at the back of the Corvette, and he's going to try and find a way past. Now, this is how close it was. And just on the left-hand side, you'll see the Corvette appear. It was very, very close. And that in super slow-mo. As Andreas Wirth, for all it was worth, gave that a huge footfall. And, well, you can see in the HTP garage that was being watched by Jeroen, as Lucas Stoltz did everything he could. So we got 3 and a bit minutes left on the pit stop window. So it's now Corvette, Bentley and Mercedes. Big question in all of this is the car that's currently out there still at the moment. Andreas Simonsen still to make his stop as Lucas Stoltz tries everything he can to try and engineer a just the margin that he needs to try and overtake the Corvette ahead. So this is a real battle between Corvette and Bentley. So on board with Lucas Stoltz once again, and dives up the inside, but has to think better of it. So really very, very racy, and now under pressure from the Mercedes. Sebastian Ash then we go on board with on the in the Zaxby's Mercedes. They head down the start-finish straight. But we've got 2.5 minutes left in the pit stop window as they head towards the hotel turn. Andreas Simonsen, the nominal leader at the moment, as Ash just looked at the outside for a mo and continues to harry the Bentley ahead. So the number 66 machine, Andreas Wirth, car number 69 is under investigation, and that car is the Diego Alesi Patrick Assenheimer car. There's a 9-second time penalty for Florian Strauss, Mark Gasner, and 1 second time penalty for car number 69. Which affects the battle that we're watching at the moment. So a minute and a half or so for the pit stop window to remain open. Go back on board with the Corvette, looking back to the number 7 Bentley, being driven by Lucas Stoltz, and we're on board with Lucas Stoltz now, heading towards the hotel turn. And Sebastian Ash then in the Mercedes. So all three, and there, just into the picture now, is the number 42 car, which is Harry Prochik, who was late into the pit lane and will resume his place in this battle as well, having lost 1 place. So Lucas Stoltz continuing to harry the Corvette. ADAC GT Masters littered with brilliant GT racing brands, and great to see the Bentley in amongst the battles here, consistently quick over the course of the weekend, that's for sure. Pit stop window is closed now. So we get back to the correct order once all the cars have crossed the timing line once again. But the order is as you're watching it on screen currently. And the order, you just feel, could change at any moment, because Lucas Stoltz really pushing very, very hard, flashing lights, trying to unsettle the number 66 machine of Andreas Wirth ahead. Big winner in the pit window then was the yesterday's victor, the Porsche, Christian Engelhardt and Klaus Bachler up to P5. So then the correct order now on the left-hand side of your screen once all the driver changes have been taken into account. Andreas Wirth leads with just a margin of 3/10 over the Bentley there, the Porsche that was victorious yesterday. And it's Christian Engelhardt at the wheel of that now in P5. Do everything he can to try and get on terms with the Harry Prochik Mercedes. There's a bit of a margin back at the moment. Order on the left-hand side for you, Wirth, Stoltz then, Ash, Prochik, Engelhardt. They're the number 2 car of Jordan Lee Pepper, last year's Sirocco R Cup champion, teaming up with the team in the ADAC GT Masters for this year. Big elevation, following in the footsteps of Kelvin van der Linde, who did just that the previous season and became champion with René Rast. Well, the big charge and the big challenge the Bentley appears just for a moment to have gone away. So Andreas Wirth, then Lucas Stoltz, and on board with Stoltz we go. Lights in frustration to try and parry a mistake. And the evidence of the last few laps doesn't look like that mistake is going to come. Further down the order, the RWT Racing Corvette, Basel team. Lips Mark machine, and the Sandstrom Audi getting past. Our race leader P2 and P3 all into shot now. So Andreas Wirth, Luke Stoltz, then Sebastian Ash, the 1, 2, 3 with Harry Prochik P4. And then the hard-charging Christian Engelhardt trying to reel in that Mercedes. Running down there in P16 at the moment. That Nissan, the Mark Gassner Florian Strauss car, the Nissan GT-R Nismo GT3, run by the MRS Racing team, which gets the black flag. Black flag to Mark Gassner, Florian Strauss in the GT-R Nismo GT3. And now Let's go back to this battle right at the front. Lucas Stoltz again has just turned up the wick a bit. Very much Bentley v Corvette battle. Corvette got the better of it at the moment into the hotel turn number 1, this left-hander. Sweep round and head towards the Bilstein chicane. That certainly seems just a little more fleet of foot at the moment. Through the chicane and turn 6. Stadium straight. Carsten Molitor on the right-hand side from the MRS team. So their cars haven't been black flagged. There it is. Back to the battle at the front between the Corvette there, driven by Daniel Keilwitz in the first session, Andreas Wirth at the wheel now. Number 7 Bentley with Lucas Stoltz. The margin just 4 tenths between P1 and P2, a full second back then to Ash in the Mercedes. And Project is P4. Racing Corvette. Going down there in P11. This is the timing line now. Florian Stoll. Just taking a tighter line through the exit of the hotel turn. Gets right on the back of the Corvette. On board with Jordan Lee Pepper then, who is just behind that battle. Perhaps sense the opportunity as the Corvette just runs out onto the runoff area. So there, the difference between Remo Lips and Florian Stoll over the last 3 laps. As we watch the 13 and 24 car battle there, the familiar Cave Styler 24 livery on the Audi. 23 is going to be reported to the stewards, and I wonder if that's because the car has not been put back into the pit lane. Just a couple of laps ago, seeing the black flag shown to car number 23, which caused a certain degree of consolation in the MRS racing garage. We could see Carsten Molitor shaking his head. Not to be confused with the car number 22 that's just behind the number 1 machine of Stefan Mackenbauer and Kelvin van der Linde. And there's a super slow-mo of the race-leading Corvette of Andreas Wirth. Currently P1. Enjoying the ADAC GT race this afternoon, race 2 of the 2 across the weekend. Daniel just keeping an eye on everything that's going out there, having done such a good job at the start of this race. Daniel Keilwitz, it's Andreas Wirth that's on board this machine right now. And lapping certainly quicker than Lucas Stoltz currently, and well, the number 23 car that was showing the black flag is in now. So there, the 1, 2, 3. Just earlier, I thought Christian Engelhardt would try and get onto the back of the Mercedes, which is P4, the Harry Prochik machine. Like Claudio Hertman is actually really rapid. Claudio Hertman currently P6. We're on board with Sebastian Ash in the Zaxby Mercedes, which is currently P3, but this is our race leader, as we have just 15 minutes remaining in this race now. And there the black flagged car of Mark Gassner and Florian Strauss, the Nissan GT Nismo GT3, owned by the MRS GT Racing team. So whatever Lucas Stoltz has been able to throw at Andreas Wirth ahead, he certainly hasn't been able to really have a go at trying to get past the Corvette. And you can see the seesawing action between the two of them in terms of times and the margin between them. As they complete another lap here at Oschersleben. 7/10 the margin. Now, there's a heavy braking into the left-hander, which is the hotel turn. There's a brilliant split screen that we're able to show you of what it looks like out on track, but also what it looks like from inside the number 2 placed Bentley at the moment by Lucas Stoltz. The two of them are definitely pulling away from the P3 car of Sebastian Ash, the Zaxby Racing SLS Mercedes. So staying with this excellent split screen. But he's following the Bentley around this Oschersleben circuit through the chicane. Take a huge amount of curve through the middle and quite a bit on the exit too. Whatever Lucas Stoltz is able to throw into the mix at the moment, it's not quite enough to be able to really close up to Andreas Wirth and try and find a way past. So Andreas Wirth doing a great job out there. To the Spielmacher turn, the final turn as they head down the start-finish straight once again and cross the timing line. Last lap, well, Bentley was marginally quicker by 1/10, which means the gap comes down to 0.6 now. As you can see on the left-hand side, a full 2 seconds ahead of the P3 car of Sebastian Ash. And there, just into shot now, is the race-winning Porsche from yesterday. Hounded Christian Engelhardt a little bit by Claudia Hürtgen and the Jost Abrasives Nissan. It's taken by the Baumann BMW. Nick Baumann, of course, last year was pairing up with Claudia Hürtgen, which is a car that currently runs in P6. Nissan. And that a replay of how that was done. Baumann just diving through to the inside, keeping his foot in, and certainly able to make that pass over the Dominic Jost Florian Scholzer car. Hürtgen has got Stefan Weckerbauer for company now in the number 1 Audi. So all of a sudden, Christian Engelhardt is able to breathe a sigh of relief as we see out goes the number 2 machine of Nicky Tim and Jordan Lee Pepper. And that was a spin and clattered a load of gravel across the track. Absolutely nothing else involved in that. Something broke on that car to cause that to snap away the way it did. So Jordan Lee Pepper controlled it and managed to get it going again. And there is the car. Go back to the lead battle. All of a sudden, really rather dramatically, the sun has gone in. And coinciding with that, so too does the enthusiasm, it would appear, from Lucas Stolz in terms of trying to wrestle this lead away in the final 10 minutes of this race from Andreas Wirth, who we're on board with. And there we see them cross the timing line. And again, Stolz was quicker than Wirth last time around. So into the hotel turn, the left-hander, Lucas Stolz now just piling the pressure on as we reach the sub-10-minute duration in this second of the two ADAC GT Masters races across this weekend. Bentley Continental GT3 and the Corvette Z06.R GT3 ahead, which currently leads the race with Andreas Wirth at the helm. The menacing sight in the rearview mirror of the Bentley, heading towards the back end of the Corvette. And there is Sebastian Asch in P3. So Lucas Stolz with that HTP Motorsport Bentley. Of it this weekend with their junior team racing in ADAC Formula 4, as we see the retirement of the Jordan Lee Pepper number 2 Audi R8 LMS Ultra. Race leaders through the hotel turn again. Andreas Wirth again being able to just see off any charge from the Lucas Stolz Bentley, which runs in P2. Last time around, a full 4/10 quicker than Andreas Wirth. And then into the garage we go, the HTP Motorsport garage. There is Daniel Keilwitz. So as we look at the teammates of those that are out there, Bleekemolen first of all, and now Daniel Keilwitz. With keen interest, of course, the battle for P1 and P2. Just think that Harry Procek is getting a bit closer to Sebastian Asch in P3 as well. Bentley, and well, Christian Engelhardt still able to hold on to that P5 position. Big train of cars behind. But Engelhardt leading them in P5. Then the Hergen Krohn BMW. So Stefan Wackerbauer, and Wackerbauer there just got a bit close as the BMW ran wide around the exit of the hotel turn. As this plays into the hands a little bit of Christian Engelhardt, who's able to focus on what he's trying to do in terms of get just a bit closer to Harry Procek. We have just under 6 minutes left to run. So the black BMW, which has seen great success in the ADAC GT Masters with race wins and regular podium places over previous seasons. First season, though, that we're seeing the beautiful HTP Motorsport Bentley, and that is currently chasing this Corvette. Corvette, another one under the Callaway Competition brand that has seen so much success in ADAC GT Masters. earlier, the Bentley has been quick all weekend. Certainly in qualies and free practice. And indeed in terms of race pace too. 7/10 now. The margin between Andreas Wirth and Lukas Stolz. Final stages of this race 2 in the ADAC GT Masters here at Oschersleben. It's the traditional season opener here at Oschersleben, as running a bit wide there went the Mercedes of Harry Prochik. And Christian Engelhardt there in the Porsche is P5, then it is the BMW of Claudia Hürtgen, P6. BMW Dominic Baumann in P8, just on the back there of the Stefan Wackerbauer Kelvin van der Linde #1 car. So just 4 minutes left to run. Still just a little bit quicker than Lukas Stolz, which is enough. So Dominic Baumann is the one that just took a look up the inside of the Audi. The battle for P7, that was... Oh, Andreas Wirth is in the pit lane. Daniel Keilwitz rubs his face. A problem with the Callaway Competition Corvette, which sees the Bentley, the #7 machine, take up the lead. So there is Andreas Wirth, the Callaway Competition driver, parks the car up. The car was slowing, Stolz went round. So now HTP then add to the success they're having with their junior team in ADAC Formula 4 by taking up the lead in this race. Under 3 minutes left to run. And right in the closing stages of this race as we look from on board now. The Keilwitz Ash car. The Keilwitz Wirth car, I apologise. And there you can see Daniel Keilwitz, the very left of your picture there. Can't believe it. However, Jeroen Bleekemolen, as we see, well, striding down the pit lane. Andreas Wirth having done everything he could to hold this Bentley at bay, but now the Bentley leads. So, race order now, Lukas Stolz, then it's Ash P2, Prochik P3. Engelhardt now is P4 in the Porsche. So we have a minute and a half or so of the race left, and right in the closing stages of this race. Nightmare for Callaway Competition. See the car retired. So now with, oh, that's really good to see. Really good to see Jeroen Bleekemolen waiting just to speak to the very, very disappointed Andreas Wirth as he makes his way down the pit lane. Making his way around the track, though, is Bleekemolen's teammate Lukas Stolz. Driving that Bentley with a huge margin over Ash. In turn has a huge margin over Prochik with under a minute left to run. Changes could come here, though, in this little battle, which is continuing to rage right to the checkered flag. This will be the final lap of race 2 of the ADAC GT Masters here at Oschersleben as Harry Prochik runs wide. And there you can see the margin between P1, P2 and P3. There, very disappointed young man. But the HTP Motorsport team, as I have mentioned, have enjoyed great success this weekend. Been pleased with the pace of the Bentley for sure. Looks an absolutely stunning machine out there on track. This Continental GT3. As we watch it on the in the final turns through this Oschersleben circuit to head to victory number 1 for car number 7 in the ADAC GT Masters season for 2015. I just have a feeling that this car is more than a few appearances on the podium during the course of the season. So around the Spielmacher turn for the final time and heading towards the checkered flag. Race 2 victory goes the way of the Lucas Stoltz, Jeroen Bleekemolen, HTP Motorsport run Bentley Continental GT3 with a 5.7 second margin over the Sebastian Asch Luca Ludwig P2 car. Then it was Project Simonsen Engelhardt P4 and Claudia Hürtgen P5, and there you can see the delight in the HTP Motorsport garage. That the promise that the car has offered all weekend is delivered by way of a race win. So the Bentley team, HTP, and Lucas Stoltz, absolutely delighted with that for sure. To spare a thought though for the Andreas Wirth and Daniel Keilwitz Callaway Competition Corvette did absolutely nothing wrong, and they're the delight. And there, the confirmation of the result then, it's Stoltz and Bleekemolen that take the win from Asch and Ludwig, and Project and Simonsen P3. Then we see Engelhardt and Backler, Hürtgen, Krohn, Wackerbauer and van der Linde P6, Baumann, Klingman P7, Jost Scholzer P8, Dobic Sandstrom P9, and Remo Lips and Sven Bart in the number 13 RWT racing car. P10 with Stoll and Basseng and Weishaupt and Jons, rounding out the top 12 after 39 laps of the Oschersleben circuit for race 2 of the ADAC GT Masters, as the cars make their way now into Parc Fermé. Down the pit lane they will come, as the rest of the order there, as you can see on screen for you. Delight in one quarter, bitter disappointment in another, of course. So we're on board with Lucas Stoltz then, as I said, making his way into Parc Fermé. Bentley team HTP celebrate their first race victory with the Bentley Continental GT3 in ADAC GT Masters. The car parks up in front, the number 1 spot. There is the embrace between teammates. The car certainly looks fantastic and has performed very, very well across free practice, across quali, and in race 2 taking the victory. Can't help but wonder whether would have found a way past the Corvette had the Corvette not failed. Certainly looked close enough on occasions, but was never able quite to make it stick. So the 1, 2, 3 in part ferme then. And in due course, they will be heading up to the podium, 2 podiums for the 1, 2, 3 in the race, and also for the gentleman drivers as well. So race 2 from the ADAC GT Masters done. Head off to the Red Bull Ring next, beginning of June, 6th, 7th of June, for the next round of the ADAC GT Masters, where battles will be resumed. Racing continuing all the way through until the final round, of course, in Hockenheim. All the information on the ADAC GT Masters website, which contains full English translation as well. Urge you to take a look there. There's all the information about the series, the cars, the drivers, the teams. Absolutely brilliant website with lots and lots of information on the ADAC GT Masters series, which has had a great weekend here at Oschersleben, the first round of the championship. Traditional season opener here at Oschersleben. Seen a big crowd here to enjoy the racing. Be a few moments before the cars make their way up to, the drivers make their way up to the podium. Media interest in the winners, of course, great. And the images that we see at the moment reinforcing that fact. So the Bentley returns to the ADAC GT Masters with a victory. So from our vantage point here, directly opposite the podium, we can see the drivers making their way up towards the podium now. There, you get that image as well. Just see the back of Luca Ludwig there. Drivers being harried up to the podium.
I was in no man's land.
Pose for photographs first. Their way, and we'll see the podium ceremony, we hope, in full. And there, the biggest smiles, I suppose, expected on the faces of those HTP Motorsport drivers, bringing that Bentley home in P1. So they head up towards the podium right now. Ushered in that direction by the head of communications, Kai Oliver Langendorf, who was harrying them along. See the dignitaries on the podium just at the top of your picture there, awaiting the drivers to arrive and have their trophies presented to them. So from here, as I mentioned, we head off to the Red Bull Ring on the 6th and 7th of June. From there, it is Spa on the 20th and 21st of June. Then the Lassitz Fourth and 5th of July. Nürburgring, 15th, 16th August. Sachsenring, 29th, 30th of August. Zandvoort, 19th, 20th of September. And then the grand finale will be at Hockenheim, 3rd, 4th of October, when the season is rounded out. But we're right at the very start of what I think is going to be a superb season for the ADAC GT Masters. So we're not far away from the podium ceremonies taking place. As I mentioned, there's one for the race overall and then one for gentlemen drivers also. Hopefully we'll have time to bring you both of those. This race last year was Rennie Rast and Kelvin van der Linde that took the honours in race 2. Race 1 was won by Maxi Buch and Maxi Gotts in the HTP Motorsport Mercedes. Still much more racing to come here this particular weekend, as there we can see, I think, finally, the podium about to get underway. Everyone there ready to make the trophy presentations. And a big gathering below the podium to salute those drivers when they come out onto each of steps 1, 2, and 3. So as I mentioned, much more racing to come, including the third and final race for the all-new ADAC Formula 4. It'll be out on track very soon. And interestingly, the HTP Motorsport team have a interest in that also. The junior team, which has been successful this weekend. So we can hear our circuit announcer about to bring the drivers out on to the podium. So Lucas Stoltz, Jeroen Bleekemolen, Sebastian Asch and Luca Ludwig, and Andreas Simonsen, Harold Prochik that we will see out there. Indeed, there they come in. Lucas Stoltz, Jeroen Bleekemolen up onto the top step of the podium. Sebastian Asch and Luca Ludwig. Andreas Simonsen and Harry Prochik complete the podium places then.
Team des Wochenendes, die Mannschaft vom Bentley Team HTB. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, Brice Bosi. Erstmal die Glückwünsche, ganz klar. Und so haben wir sie dort oben jetzt stehen. Zu Ehren des siegreichen Teams erklingt nun die Nationalhymne.
So we pause for the national anthem.
Den wohlverdienten Lohn der Arbeit in Empfang zu nehmen. Die Trophäen.
So as the national anthem plays out then, here come the trophy presentation. Jürgen Fabry from the ADAC makes the trophy presentation to Lucas Stoltz and Jeroen Bleekemolen. Now it's Dieter Junge who makes the trophy presentation to Sebastian Asch and Luca Ludwig for P2. The Ludwig family mantelpiece, and there's a bow under the weight of trophies, I would think. Lars Suchka makes trophy presentation to Andreas Simonsen and Harry Prochik. For the team then, HTP Motorsport. Everyone makes haste their escape before being utterly soaked. So the ADAC GT Masters Race 2 done and dusted. The podium presentation. And the podium will be repaired and mopped down now for the gentleman podium, which hopefully we'll just have time to stay with and see. But first of all, the photographs up there on the podium. The 1, 2, 3 in race 2 from the ADAC GT Masters, this opening round of the new season here at Oschersleben. Next up on the podium, new car into the GT Masters, the Bentley Continental GT3. So, some interviews for the huge crowd to enjoy as we take a look at some of the highlight shots from that second race here in the ADAC GT Masters. Away and racing. Over the doors, of course, the Bentley was run out wide. Wide is the 23 Nissan, that's for sure. Get back at some of those images. Provoked a safety car just at the start of the pit window opening. With a little tag around went the Audi of Flip Geipel and Rahal Frey. And the number 66 machine really performed brilliantly until the very end. Then, as you can see, the face of Daniel Keilwitz says it all as the car failed and elevated the number 7 Bentley to the top step in the race, the top step of the So there we see the guys leaving the podium from the presentation to the 1, 2, 3 in race 2 from the ADAC GT Masters. And, well, we're not going to have time for the gentleman podium, unfortunately. So until the Red Bull Ring, which is the next round of the ADAC GT Masters, which comes up on 6th and 7th of June, another 2-hour-long races from the ADAC GT Masters there. Thank you very much for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you in Austria, in Spielberg, at the beginning of June. Bye-bye for now.
Dem dritten Durchgang. Also da wird noch einiges zu holen sein, aber über Pokalmangel können sie sich wohl heute eher nicht beschweren. Oder an diesem Wochenende, die Mannschaft von ATP. Also ihr seid auch schon fertig, ja, würde ich doch sagen. Nehmen wir doch jetzt einfach mal unseren nächsten Part in Angriff und dürfen unsere Gentlemen jetzt nach draußen bitten. Als Sieger dürfen wir aufs Treppchen bitten von MS GT Racing. Unsere Nissan-Piloten, Glückwunsch an Dominik Jöst und Florian Scholze. Die Zweitplatzierten auf der RWT Racing Team Corvette. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, Remo Lips und Sven Bauert. Und die Dritten im Bunde der Gentleman-Wertung von C-Up Racing. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, Andreas Weishaupt und Christa Jöns. Sie haben Einzug gehalten dort oben auf dem Treppchen. Und zu Ehren des siegreichen Teams erklingt nun die Nationalhymne der Bundesrepublik Deutschland.